Hey guys, so no other Batman movie would have Penguin riding around in a huge duck other than a Tim Burton Batman movie. So I love Tim Burton and I love Batman, so I knew that I would love this movie going into it, and I was right. This is one of my all-time favorite Batman movies. Is it a good movie? Maybe not, but it's an enjoyable movie. And sometimes that's all you need. So anyway, as everybody probably knows, unless you've been living under a rock, the Batman is coming out tomorrow, so I'm going to have my spoiler-free and spoiler review out tomorrow. So subscribe if you want to see that, or give this video a like, it would really help me out. Also, I have my Batman vs Superman Ultimate Edition review, and I'm going to be ranking my favorite live-action Batman movies, so I'll link those videos down below if you want to see them. So anyway, let's get into the review and talk about Tim Burton's Batman movies. So for those of you that don't know, Tim Burton directed the first two Batman movies in this trilogy, and he was set to direct the third one when him and the studios couldn't see eye to eye, because they thought that he was putting too much sex and violence in his movies, which were meant to be kid-friendly movies. So they replaced him with Joe Shoemaker, I think his name is, who put nipples on the Batsuit. And yet he's the one that is meant to be kid-friendly. Anyway, so I just think that it's a bit ridiculous because they hired Tim Burton. I mean, take away the sex and the blood and he's still gonna terrify kids. And I like his dark approach to the Batman movies, especially the one we're mainly going to be talking about, Batman Returns, because he adds so many things like that kid train that you would never see in any other Batman movie. And he has such a unique approach to storytelling that I love. Anyway, it's a pity we never got to see his version of the third movie. So one thing that is a huge pity is that we didn't get to see more of this version of Gotham City. Tim Burton's Gotham City truly felt like a dark, gritty, captivating, visually dynamic city that was so different to anything we've ever seen before. It really felt like a comic book city, not just another version of New York City. So one thing I also really wanted to see if he had stayed on for a third movie is how he would have brought Catwoman back, because I loved her character. I love the dynamic between Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle and Batman and Catwoman, because they both have this dual nature. They have two halves of themselves, and I feel like this movie did a really good job of highlighting that, and they feel like they had a good chemistry in the movie. And I feel like he didn't really have good chemistry with any of the other leads in the first movie or the third movie, like the female romantic interests. So I just feel like we had this opportunity for such an amazing third movie, which unfortunately we'll never get, but at least we got Batman Returns. So anyway, talking about Catwoman, who was played by Michelle Pfeiffer, I absolutely adore her. She is my favorite Catwoman of all time. I think she did a great job. She made the role so over the top and quirky, but it really worked well. And I like the fact that they made her this sort of quiet, shy librarian type who was a bit repressed, and then she went through her transformation, which was done so well. Her transformation into Catwoman was just one of my favorite parts of this movie. So seeing her go through that, it's not a version of Catwoman we typically see. And we've had the Catwoman movie, which we sort of had the same thing in that, but I refuse to believe that that is a Catwoman movie. I hate that movie. I pretend it doesn't exist, and I would love to have a proper Catwoman movie one day, hopefully. So what triggered Selina Kyle's transformation into Catwoman was having her boss, Max Shrek, push her off a roof. And then she gets surrounded with cats, and it's a scene that they did in Gotham for their portrayal of Selina Kyle. She had a moment where she gets pushed off a roof as well and surrounded by cats. But in this version, she gets bitten by like a magical cat that brings her back to life, and I don't know, that somehow gives her powers. Anyway, so one thing that I really am disappointed by when it comes to this movie is when I found out that one of my favourite actors, Brad Dourif, so if you don't know him, he's not a very well-known actor. He's mainly known for being the voice of Chucky. That laugh, that evil laugh would have been so perfect for the Joker. Because Brad Dourif met, I think on a plane, he met Tim Burton, and Tim Burton wanted to cast him as the Joker in his 1989 version of Batman. But unfortunately the studios didn't want to go with him, maybe because he wasn't a very well-known actor at that point, and they went with Jack Nicholson. And I'm really disappointed about that because Brad Dourif, he was born to play the Joker. He would have been absolutely amazing. And look, I'm not trying to, tear down Jack Nicholson. I think he is an amazing actor. I just would have really preferred Brad for the role. And I honestly did think that this guy would be such an amazing Joker before I even found out that Tim Burton was actually considering him for the role. So that was pretty amazing to think that. I think the same way as Tim Burton, one of my all-time favourite directors. There must be a reason why I like his movies. Great minds tend to think alike. Anyway, so talking about Batman, Michael Keaton, I do not like him. I'm just being honest. I don't like him. He is definitely my all-time least favourite Batman. My favourite one is definitely Christian Bale. Secondly, Ben Affleck, he is definitely warming on me. The Batfleck is warming on me. I'm going to rewatch Batman vs Superman tonight in preparation for the Batman tomorrow. And yeah, I really like his darker, more serious sort of approach to the Batman. Batman is always serious, but he's really like in your face, sort of violent, and I don't know, there's just something that I've warmed up to his portrayal of him. And I would say that I also really do like David Mazouz, who is the guy that played young Bruce Wayne in the Gotham show. He did such a good job as Bruce Wayne. And I honestly think that Robert Pattinson, from what I've seen so far, could become my new favourite Batman. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I think this movie, Batman Returns, is definitely one that you could consider a Christmas movie. There's such a Christmas vibe about this movie. It's like Die Hard. It's one of those Christmas movies that aren't technically Christmas movies. So one thing that I really like is how Tim Burton had such a unique take on the characters that we've seen portrayed quite a bit at this point already. We've never seen a penguin like this before, which is probably a good thing. I don't know if the world could handle two versions of penguin who ate raw fish. Watching him eat raw fish was definitely not easy, but it was very interesting. I liked the character of Penguin, even if he was completely gross. And I like the fact that he didn't grow up rich, but he came from this rich high society background, and then when he finds out who his parents are, he uses that to his advantage to try to become the mayor, which he does eventually. And that's sort of the same character arc in a way as the Penguin from the Gotham TV show. I mean, he didn't go around eating raw fish, thank God, but he did have that poor upbringing, and then later on in life he found out that he was rich and used it to become the mayor. Anyway, he was definitely my favourite Penguin. I absolutely adore Gotham version of Penguin. But this one is definitely entertaining as well. So, One thing that I love about this movie is Christopher Walken as Max Shrek. I think he did such a good job. He made this really cliche character of the evil, greedy businessman, and he really made it his own because, it's Christopher Walken. Anyway, I loved his interactions with Penguin because he's this really refined man and Penguin is Penguin, and it was really entertaining to watch. So this might be my favourite version of Alfred. I absolutely love Alfred in this. He is so sassy. And yeah, I just really don't like Batman in this because, for starters, he pushes Selina Kyle off a roof while they're fighting. And yes, she's attacking him, I get it. And he absolutely has the right to defend himself, but at the same time, he aimed to kill her. And it's like, that's a bit of an extreme overreaction from somebody who's meant to be the good guy. And then later on, she's trying to kill her boss, Max Shrek, because he tried to kill her. And I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do, but she makes a point that this man is above the law because he is extremely rich and most likely he wouldn't be going to jail. And Batman sort of shames her for it and makes her out to be a bad person. And it's like, yes, I'm not saying murder is good. Let me make that clear. But the whole point of Batman is he's working as a criminal outside the law, as a vigilante, because the law is broken. So for him to go around and say that, especially when he had almost killed her, and has definitely showed that he's not a Batman who really cares about whether people live or die. He doesn't really have that rule of I will not kill. So it just feels like a very hypocritical thing to say. So all in all, I really, really enjoy this movie. I would give it an 8.5, an 8 out of 10 sort of. Anyway, so let me know in the comments down below, did you enjoy this movie? What are your thoughts on it? Please subscribe if you want to see more from me, or just give me a like. It really helps me to grow my channel. Thanks, guys.